Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only. You think I'm fucking with you? I am not fucking with you. I'm here from downtown. I'm here from Mitch and Murray. And I'm here on a mission of mercy. Your name's Levine?
Yeah.
You call yourself a salesman, you son of a bitch? I don't gotta listen to this shit. You certainly don't, pal. Because the good news is you're fired. The bad news is you've got just 1 week to regain your job, starting with tonight. Starting with tonight's sit. Oh, have I got your attention now?
I am from beyond. Listen, and all you desire will be yours. Welcome to Spider-Dan and the Secret Balls. Prepare for Prattle.
Secret Ball Stories.
Welcome to Prattle World. I am your host, the ever-amazing, ever-spectacular Spider-Dan, and in this podcast, I spotlight entertainment's best-kept secrets that a mainstream audience may find boring. And welcome to Secret Ball Stories, where I invite guests to count down a personal top 5 list in high-fidelity fashion. And it's business time. It's business. It's business time. We are here not to talk about Memoirs of an Invisible Man, because I came up with a mad idea. I had my own think tank in my own brain, and I thought, you know what? I'm quitting X, or whatever you want to call it, because it's a fucking cesspool that has been created by a mad egomaniac, tech bro, a fucking corporate villain, whatever you want to talk about and call him. Elon Musk. I decided, with all of the stuff that's going on, my guest has said it recently on one of his videos, how bad Twitter has become for that. And I kind of sort of quit last year or the year before, I can't remember. But now I just went, no, I'm done. I'm not enjoying it. The only followers I get are bots. I had to delete 24 bots the other day that had followed me. Nobody else. My reach is not anywhere near as good. The stuff I see on there is despicable, frankly. There's a lot of good people on there. I've met a lot of good people on there, Jack and various other people. But I basically have not enjoyed going on that form of social media as much. I'm much more enjoying Instagram and the other ones. I am now on Threads. So if you want to
you mean you didn't enjoy the fact that porn is on every search bar when you type it in? You type in, gee, what's happened at D23 this weekend? Porn. Great.
23
Thanks.
dicks.
Thanks, Elon Musk. I just want to know what theme park rides they've announced at Disneyland Paris. I didn't know that Peter Jansen was getting done from behind by fucking brilliant. Cheers. Thanks. What's that name after, by the way?
What was that name again, so I can look it up later, Andy?
Nah, you'll have to listen back. I'm not saying it again.
I think I know who you're talking about. Anyway, so it's as time immemorial, there's always been corporate villains, businessmen villains, businesswomen villains, you name it. So I very quickly asked my Patreon, I said, would you like us to do what you originally voted for, which was Memoirs of an Invisible Man over David Cronenberg's M. Butterfly for A Wrong Direction? And I said, just because I'm feeling all the Zuckerbergs and the Jeff Bezos, all those kind of guys feel like they're in charge and they're controlling everything and ruining all our lives. We've done politicians, you and I, Andy, top 5 worst politicians. Me and Math have done top 5 worst medical professionals. But today we're going to be talking. We definitely did. And today we are going to be talking our top 5 worst fictional, bear this in mind, fictional, but I will accept, I'll go through a little bit what I mean by a corporate executive and things, but I will accept fictionalized versions of real people as well. And yeah, I mean, that's not for me. I've not got one of those, but I had to give the rules to somebody, and I said, and they were struggling, and I said, if you want, I'll accept a fictionalized version of a real person. And they were like, okay, I've got one. So that was for their choices. But yes, top 5 worst fictional corporate executives. So we are talking kind of big business people. We're talking like CEOs, that type of thing. For the most part, I think,
Yeah.
to be honest, the term executive, goes quite low and quite high, I think. But that when I think of like corporate executives, I think of kind of the top higher end, the people that control more power, have more money, and therefore are more morally questionable, I would say. And yeah, so but I'm keeping it quite loose and quite easy. I'm
I'm
not.
glad.
And me and Andy, so Angry Andy here is my guest. We were going to do memoirs, but by a huge landslide, Patreon decided that we should do this instead. And we have a lot of comments and a lot of choices to go through. Andy and I have got 5 each, and we've got honourable mentions. And those people also have their own 5 and honourable mentions as well. But Andy, what did you think to this topic? Angry Andy Reviews is here again to talk and list a top 5. And I think we had some good fun last time when we did the politicians. But how do you feel about
Yeah.
this one?
No, yeah, it was great. I mean, as soon as it was there, I was like, "Oh, I really want to do that film." But this is great.
We
This is
will.
great.
It's
This is great.
definitely the Patreon. I
Yeah.
won't forget it. It's on the board. It's there. It's not going to be forgot about. We will get to it. But I just thought, what would you like more so? Would you like
Yeah, and
this
to be
or
fair,
the game?
I voted for this as well. So I was like, all right, okay, because there are so many bad businessmen in
Mm.
films, aren't there? I mean, a couple on my list are a bit out there. One might upset some people. I'm gonna fucking
Oh,
stick with it anyway.
okay,
Um,
okay, okay.
but
I'm
yeah, it's
interested.
just a great topic, isn't it? Because they're all people we love to hate as well. I think that's the thing about bad business executives in movies or CEOs or junior executives. We love to hate them, don't we? We love to see them get their comeuppance one way or another, or at least suffer in some vein or format. Or we just end up really fucking loving them throughout the film. Which
I mean,
one of
yeah.
them, God, I fucking well, two of them actually. Fucking love them. I think they're fucking great, which is going to say a lot about me as a person, I think. But I fucking love it. Great.
And
Well,
Andy's on his way to being a corporate villain. But
I'm on my way to being labeled as a sycophantic, sadistic person. I think possibly, but we'll have to see, won't we? Subscribe to the channel for more.
yeah.
Um,
Well,
but yeah,
I was going to say, I think more so. Again, this was a very short turnaround. Normally, I would do like lots and lots of research. I'd watch lots of new things that hadn't seen or read or
yeah,
what have you. But we were really spoiled for choice, I think,
yeah.
and
All
all
my
the
choices were literally 'cause I confirmed with you, I think.
mm,
What the parameters? And you went, "Oh, that's quite loose." And I went, "It's okay, I'm sorted." They were all in there
I
immediately,
I
plus
saw that.
my honourable mentions. Straight away, all in there, like, just in my brain.
I played around with mine a little bit, but I mostly had it down pretty much
Yeah,
from the get go. And with you, I was like, this is quite. I'm quite happy with most of these, and I might play around and mix and match. But like with
yeah,
you, I remember you messaging you, go, "Oh, I'm gonna have to do some research. I'm gonna have to do a bit of research." I
yeah,
went, "Yeah, take your time." 10 minutes later, you were back, and I'm like, "I'm done. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's go.
yeah.
Job
And it was
done.
actually like quick because it was literally like, I need to think. Oh no, I don't. No, I
Done.
don't.
Done."
These are the characters. These are the people that are really terrible. Like made horrible decisions. Well, fucked everything up for everyone. Or
Absolutely,
just awful
absolutely.
people. Yeah. So,
They are. So yeah, so business people in general. Again, we kept it quite loose. So make your own top 5. Comment. Send us your top 5. I've got enough already to read out. But yeah, let us know. Yeah. So I think let's get down to business, Andy. What
um,
is your first choice? You are the guest, so I'd like
right.
you to do your first corrupt fictional corporate villain, I should say.
Right. So just let me
It is.
set the tone for you.
All
I
right.
watch this film at least once a year, always at Christmas. All right. Always at Christmas time.
Oh, I
Always,
think I know where
always
you're
at Christmas
going.
time. Ah, This is fucking mega left field. If you have any inkling where this is going, I'll give you a fiver. So it's a holiday family movie. It's been around for a very long time. It's all part of the National Lampoon's Adventure, starring Chevy Chase. It is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and this bad CEO is Mr. Frank Shirley, Clark Griswold's boss. And he's bad because he removes the bonuses for everybody and forgets Clark's name all the time, calls him Mark, Bill, Carl, Play, whatever. And basically, for his Christmas bonus, Clark Griswold gets sent a year-long subscription to the Jelly of the Month Club, which sends him into absolute chaos and a mental breakdown. It's ridiculous. He's a loud, small in stature man who's surrounded by a group of fucking, hanger-oners. He sits at the far end of a desk in one scene, shouting abuse to Clark Griswold. It's great. I love him as a character. It's only like snippet, such a small role, played by Brian Doyle Murray, who was in I think it was in that film with Bill Murray. Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Day.
Well,
He's been in those though.
Yeah, it's
knows who
his
he is.
brother though, isn't it? It's his brother.
Yeah. Yeah,
so-
you know who he is. He's quite a small in stature man, but he's got such a distinctive voice, like a gravelly, shouty voice. But he plays it so well. It's only such a small part. He plays it so brilliantly. I absolutely love it. He's condescending. He's sarcastic. He doesn't give a shit about anything. He just wants the money, all the money in the world, at the expense of Christmas bonuses, which is all Clark wants in that film. He just wants his Christmas bonus and a nice Christmas. So yeah, there's my first one.
Wow, brilliant choice. I've not seen it for a couple of years now. That was the first time I watched it. I don't have it because I saw it quite recently. I don't think I have as fond memories of the film as most people, but
Yeah.
I think there's still stuff in there to enjoy and to have fun with, and it's very much in that kind of Home Alone type vein where it's I think
Yeah,
it's the
so
same. It's the same director, isn't it? I think it's
Yeah.
yeah. Might be
Possibly. I don't know.
What's his name?
Christopher Columbus.
Chris Columbus. Yeah, I think it's Chris Columbus, or he wrote it. I can't remember.
I think he was going to direct it. I think he ran away because he didn't get on with Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase, which as we were going to do Memoirs of an Invisible Man, and somebody else had problems with Chevy Chase as well, Mr. John Carpenter. But we will get to that soon enough. But yeah, I remember Griswold being kind of, it basically triggers this whole meltdown, doesn't it? This idea that he's not getting his bonus and all of these, and everything just builds on top of it until you get that big meltdown moment where it's like, he's swearing and it's, fuck you, and all the family are there like, oh no, it's Christmas.
Yeah.
And then don't they
whoa.
Don't they?
We're going to press on. We're going to be the happiest bunch of assholes this side of the nut house.
Doesn't Randy Quaid kidnap the boss?
Yeah.
Am I right?
So Randy Quaid goes to his house because Clark's like, I want him here. I want Frank Shirley, my boss, right here. I want him in a big red bow. I don't want to tell him, and that's when he has this massive rant. So Randy's like, okay. He goes out in his fucking horrible RV and kidnaps him from his big posh house. And then he brings him in a big red bow. It's so shit. It's a shit movie, but it's one of those I always put on when we're putting up all the decorations. I've got it in the background. I've watched it, I think, every single year since I was about 12. I fucking love it. It's one of those consistent Christmas movies for me. Like Die Hard and fucking, all the others like Christmas Carol and things like that. It's there. It's in that top list. So
I think doesn't he like forgive him and he gives him the bonus in the end?
Yeah, he said,
kind of as a
you can have your bonus and then add 20%, and then Clark just fucking collapses, it faints. But then the SWAT team come through the windows and this crazy.
I love the Julia Louise Dreyfus, the neighbors next door, and they're brilliant. I love them as well. Randy Quaid is classic in it. I think that's the shit is full. Everyone remembers that.
His best role other than Independence Day, because I think
Yeah,
he's just playing himself, really.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's an interesting fella nowadays. If you look him up,
I'm not
quite
gonna.
yeah, it's interesting. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that's an excellent choice. And again, like this idea of the corrupt or evil or mean or
Yeah.
surly businessman goes all the way back to Scrooge, doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
Ebenezer Scrooge. Like these characters, kind of the germ for all these corporate villains comes from there. Comes from
Yeah.
having a lot of money, being horrible and greedy and foul, and not
Yeah.
showing any
It's an
humanity.
archetype. It's an archetypal character. An archetypal character born by Charles Dickens, quite simply.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Industrial Revolution
Yeah.
created these villains. Like we got him to thank, really, and got
Yeah, exactly.
English industrial society, Victorian age to thank for all these, all the children. Again, and it's that idea,
bastard.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the Oliver idea of even Fagin to a degree is kind of a corrupt businessman. And he's using child workers, child slaves. There's that element, and again that's why we're spoilt for choice here, because it's so easy, I think, to make the corrupt businessman a villain, to make the businessman a villain. And when I was looking this up, there was so many articles going, why are big businesses always depicted as evil? I was like, well, maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe somehow, somewhere, there is a reason. But yeah, excellent choice. I think that might be in one of our honorable mentions as well, but we'll get to those later. But no, I do like that. I do like that one, and I enjoy the film. Again, it's not. I don't think it's a. I think maybe it's one of those where I have a theory as well. Like me and Nathan have a theory. Like if you don't watch Goonies as a kid, you don't really. If you see it as an adult, you don't really like it.
Yeah, I kind of fall into that.
Which is fair. Like if I watch it now, I'd be like, this is just a bit lame. But because it has
films like that, and I think we've discussed it before. Films like that, they all tend to have that quality to them, don't they? If they've impacted you that much upon your life, we could say the same like Back to the Future, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Star Trek films. If you watch them when you were a kid and if something clicked with you with them, then they stay with you. If you didn't, and you come to them now and go, yeah, it's a bit dated, isn't it?
Don't worry, Andy. We're getting Skeleton Crew in December. A Star Wars Goonies project. I'm sure that will go down really well with the fandom menace. I'm sure.
Yeah, I hope so.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Again, like I said, again with that kind of thing, because it has got that Spielbergy, Goonies thing.
Amblin.
Yeah,
energy.
yeah. And I don't like ET either.
Oh, controversial, Andy. Controversial.
Oh yeah, there we go.
I'm
the evil executive. I don't like your movie.
But you like Starman? That studio chose Starman over ET.
Yeah. Yes.
Can't remember which studio it was. Columbia, I think.
People they were. Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, well, I once told Nathan's brother Matty. I said we put Flight of the Navigator on, and I went, better than ET. I was like, better than ET. This is so much better than ET. And we watched it, and he was like, better than ET. And I was like, yeah, okay, maybe I was a little strong with that opinion. Maybe it's not Flight of the Navigator. It's not quite ET.
Even I'll say it's fucking not. Fucking Travis.
Yeah, I definitely disagree with my child. Again, that's because that was a childhood memory. I was like, childhood memory. I preferred this to ET.
Yeah.
So it must be fucking great. And then coming back to it, you're like, maybe I should have left this in the past.
I made a huge mistake.
Right. Let's get on to my first choice. So I'm going to pull one out of one of my favorite video games, Andy.
Oh, hello.
So there was a film adaptation I have not seen, but I do own because it was like 50p, and I thought I'll have that. So I want to talk about the Matrix-inspired John Woo noir-esque comic book stylings of Max Payne.
Oh, okay.
So Max Payne is a video game that I really, really enjoyed. It was the right age for me. It's a lot of gunplay. It's kind of, again, it's a comic book. It's noir-esque. It's all the stuff I fucking love.
Bullet
That-
time, baby.
Yeah, but loads of bullet time, loads of slow-mo, loads of, shooting fucking mobsters in the face. I was very much into kind of the Punisher at the time, so again, it fell into that kind of vein. So I was loving that. So this spoilers for the game. We should have done spoiler warnings. I know, Andy, I know how you feel about spoilers, but this is your Tonya Todd spoiler warning. I should have said before. But
To destroy me, isn't she? Oh well.
you're going to come
May as
to a
well
head.
accept it.
You're going to come to a
Embrace
head
the
one
horror.
day. She's the light side. You're the dark side of the force on these spoiler things. I'm kind of I'm kind of indifferent either way. I'm like, as long as you're not spoiling it just before I go in, I think I'm okay for the most part. If someone goes, if I was going into Empire Strikes Back and someone said, Luke's the son of Darth Vader, I'll be like, fuck you. But I think
everyone.
yeah, if I see it, I kind of go, oh, well, I've seen it now. It's my own fault for going on the internet, I think. But that's my personal thing. But if you, however you want to balance that, is down to you. But Max Payne, the beginning of the game, the DA, Michelle Payne, Max's wife and daughter are home, and they are attacked, broken in, and these escape mental patients have killed Michelle and killed their daughter as well, their baby daughter. Fucking horrific way to start a game. You're like, oh fuck, it's only down from here, I guess. We learn that a woman called Nicole Horn, who is the CEO of Aesir Pharmaceuticals, or the Aesir Corporation, had created a compound called Valkyr. There's a lot of Norse references going on throughout this game, and it was for Project Valhalla. Again, another reference. And it was basically like a performance enhancer, like the Green Goblin does with Oscorp, who may turn up in one of our lists, maybe. Not in mine, anyway. But yeah, so it's a green liquid. But unfortunately, guess what? Doesn't really enhance much. It just makes you violently insane and have hallucinations. So they shut the project down. It gets defunded by the military. But Nicola goes, you know what? I think I can still turn a profit with this. So Nicola sells it to a local mafia don called Punchinello, and he starts selling it on the streets and making a profit. And it's kind of her testing out what it can do. And it's, they keep kind of fine tuning it because they think they can sell it to the military again. But Michelle, who is a DA, a district attorney, she finds out about the connections of this illegal drug that's on the streets back to Nicole Horn. So Nicole shoots double doses into these test subjects and sends them to the house. Now, Nicole Horn is an opportunist. She's cruel. She's sadistic. Max arrives at the home while this is all going on, and she's like, is this the Payne residence? And he's like, you've got to call the police. Someone's broken into my house. And she's like, it's too late. Like, absolutely, like, fucking turning the knife in and just, like, stabbing it, twisting it. She did not need to do that. And this is to stop that connection and to kind of cut that connection to her and the illegal drug on the streets.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then years later, Max slowly but surely uncovers this. And she even, like, when she has, like, Max dead to rights at one point in the game, she could fucking shoot him, but instead she goes, you know what, I'm going to shoot you full of Valkyr, full of V, and see how you react to it. And then Max has this kind of hallucination, and you play this horrible game where you have to follow this little trail of blood. It's like a maze while you're kind of hallucinating. All you can hear is the fucking baby crying. It's so fucking disturbing. Like, you just hear the baby crying and crying and crying, and your wife screaming for you. It's really dark and disturbing. And
Remember that.
and she was part of this inner circle that was killed, that she had killed. She was going to have the mayor killed. She has the power and the privilege, the ability to make decisive actions and control everything. And it's all about her. She, at the end of the game, where Max confronts her, she says, well, this is all your wife's fault. It was her fault, and I feel no remorse for her. She's the one who got in my way, and she has no qualms about killing anybody that's involved with her just to cover her own tracks. She is, like, literally pure evil. And then at the end of the game, you get to kill her. Spoilers, but you do get to kill her. And yeah, she's horrific. Like there is nothing she wouldn't do to make a profit or to gain more power or more traction or have more influence over New York City and the rest of the world. She is a scary, scary lady.
Bloody hell!
Mm.
What a terrible boss.
Yeah, I know. And yeah, so I remember her voice. The actress who performs her dialogue is amazing, and again, you just slowly uncover this mystery, and by the end, you're like, you deserve absolutely to die for all the horrible things you've done.
Big old C.
Yeah. So I thought I'd pull that one. I thought I thought about it, and I was like, oh yeah, she was particularly cold and merciless kind of businesswoman, and again, just does not care a lick about anybody else in her life or in the city or whoever. But yeah, so Nicole Horn from Max Payne was my first choice.
Interesting. Shame about the film. It's absolutely terrible.
I've heard, and I think she doesn't play a big role in it. I think it's a different main villain or somebody.
Honestly, couldn't tell you. I can't remember. It was absolutely dreadful.
Maybe after this, I'll give it a go and just see how true it is. I'm not a big fan of Mark Wahlberg, so I'm already kind of like, not sold.
Bad do, even for 50p.
Yeah, true. But anyway, what is your next choice, Andy?
Oh, so my next choice, a little bit of an obvious one. I've got to give you that. But we all hate him. We absolutely hate him. And again, like I said at the start of the podcast, it's the type of person that when they get their comeuppance, it's just great. We love it. He's a sniveling little Weasley character who, pretends to be there for the best interests of everybody else, but he's only there for the best interests of the company. And that company is Weyland-Yutani. And it is Carter J. Burke from Aliens. He is an utter fucking Burke as well. And his little sniveling little Weasley ways, he tries to bring an alien back by having a facehugger latch onto Newt and Ripley and use them and bring them back. Oh, he's a little fucking Weasley bastard, isn't he? He's a junior executive serving as special projects manager or director or something like that. And yeah, he goes in there under the guise to help Ellen Ripley. There's always this underlying question mark about the Weyland-Yutani Corp. And he's there pretending to be there for the best interest of Ripley. And then when something goes wrong on this planet, on LV, or LV, what is it, LV 426, he's there immediately going, you know all about it. You can help us. You can do this. We're going to go in Marines. We're going to cleanse it all. It's all just fucking lies, isn't it? It's all just lies. But obviously he's getting the orders from somewhere. But it's the way he goes about those orders when he's got nowhere else to go. When all the Marines are like, nah, we'll just nuke everything, we'll just blow it all away. He's like, no, I need to do this. And then, when he gets called out on it, when everything goes to shit, he tries to run away, doesn't he? And then he gets fucking killed. And you're like, yay! Fuck you, Burke. He's a great character in a way. He's there. He's like the complete opposite to all these other people that are in there. The brash Marines, the commanders, and all that. Because we have that weak sort of commander in there, don't we?
Gorman.
Yeah, who goes the other way. Yeah, Gorman, who goes the other way. He's inexperienced, doesn't really know what he's doing, but he brings himself up at the end, whereas Burke goes the opposite way. And he just becomes this sniveling little rat of a person.
Slime, absolute slime.
Yeah, the very definition of just slime ball executive, only interested in himself, because obviously if he gets this back, he's going to be in for a big pay rise and a promotion and all this nonsense. But yeah, he's the for me, he's always been the embodiment of the Weyland-Yutani Corps. Just from every time they're brought up, you just think of, well, they're obviously they're only obsessed with bettering the company. They don't give a shit about building better worlds or whatever it is, the slogan. They don't give a shit. They're only in there to make money. And obviously with the new release of Alien Romulus, we get a bit of an extended sort of thing with that, with the company itself and what they're all about. We know they're all about. They're just an absolute shady company, only interested in bettering themselves and making the perfect organism. Obvious one for me, but he always stands out. As soon as you mentioned this topic, I was like, Carter J. Burke.
Absolute 100%.
Immediately.
I would be like, again, I always go for the less obvious choices because I know my guests tend to mostly go for like what they believe to be their top 5. I'm always going for the slightly more obscure stuff, but I would be shocked if this isn't the top of everybody's lists for me, because I just think he is disgusting and he is.
Yeah.
You know, he's doing everything like he goes like this base has a substantial dollar value, you know.
Yeah.
Let's not blow it up, Ripley, you know, like everything he's doing, and you can see it, like it's the best, like some of the best acting in the world from Paul
Yeah.
Reiser, who plays him, because you know he's fucking slimy and, like you said, a sycophant.
Yeah.
And just, you know, and he's doing all of this, and all the while there's a great line by Ripley where he's like, you know, these might be absolutely like horrible shadow monsters, but you don't see them fucking each over, or if you
Yeah.
fucking each
Yeah.
other over for a percentage, which
Yeah.
I think is like
It's
just
a great
you know,
line.
it's fucking brilliant. And again, like, and that scene that he creates, like he releases those facehuggers, is one of the most fucking effective scenes in that film. And again, there's a
Yeah.
lot of that in Romulus as well, and those kind of scenes. And yeah, the whole company man thing, and yeah, and again, what's a nice twist on it is in the original Alien, it's Ash who is the company man, and he's literally programmed to do this. You know,
Yeah.
he doesn't really have a choice, but Cartburg does have a choice, and
Yeah,
every time he
always
makes
goes
that
away with it.
choice,
Yeah.
he chooses to fuck over the Marines,
Yeah.
Ripley, and everyone else. Like, and that's just, I think that's wonderful. Like, he
Yeah.
is just, and he's cowardly and sickly. And very recently, we got a What If comic book from Marvel, written by Paul Reiser himself, who said, "What if Carter Burke survives?" And it's not necessarily, it doesn't actually, the way it's written, it could actually happen because we don't see what happens to him. There is a deleted scene where he's cocooned, but
Yeah.
actually the comic book, apparently, I've not read it, but apparently it goes in line with everything that happens in the film anyway. So
Yeah.
if you want to believe that Carter J. Burke survives, I don't know why you would.
Yeah.
You know, it does fit that pattern and the way he escapes and everything still occurs as normal. You just don't see what happens to him. They do call it a what if story,
Yeah.
but you could, if you wanted to, have that be his ending, that, you know, where he goes off and does whatever he does. I think he takes an alien egg and does other stuff with it. Again, I've not read it. I don't know exactly what happens, but I am quite interested now after reading that, after like looking at that, and
Yeah.
and again, but yeah, I would. If I was doing like my absolute choices, like my just across the board, like the obvious choices, he would be on mine.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think it's like if you the way he gets like Cameron and the writing and the acting all comes together and get you to fucking despise this guy. And
Yeah.
again, like there's a lot of characters to dislike in Aliens, like even like Hudson, you know, as entertaining as he is, you could think
Yeah.
he's cowardly, and but even like you said, he turns it around. Gorman turns it around. They realize what they have to do.
Yeah.
To survive, and again, he brings nothing to the table. Carter Burke
No.
brings literally nothing to the table. He's literally there to be the company's kind of mascot,
Yeah, he's just-
head, eyes,
Yeah. Counting the costs, isn't he? Counting the costs.
and that's it. The substantial dollar value, that's all he's interested in.
This facility represents a substantial dollar value. Fuck your value, Gorman.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, wonderful choice, Andy. A fantastic choice. So I'm gonna move on to my next one. So here we go. Before The Wolf of Wall Street, there was a film that represented the toxic sales environment, toxic masculinity, toxic confidence. And still, some of the things that they preach in the film, some of these lessons that you learn, that you are in, the wisdom that is imparted to you, is still used in sales today. I am in sales myself. I'm part of the problem, Andy. I'm going to be a corporate villain. Today,
You are a yuppie.
Today, I was even told that for the month of July, I made the most sales out of our team. 182 sales I'd made
My
in
word.
July. So I could be this guy. I could be who I'm going to talk about now, and I'm going to talk about Blake from Glengarry, Glen Ross. Alec Baldwin, who is only in the film for 9 minutes, but it's one of the best monologues you'll hear. Feel what if there's there's a couple of problematic people in this film, and the film is problematic as well, some of the dialogue and stuff, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of part of the point. It's part of the point of not the actors, but the dialogue and the way it's presented, these ways characters are presented. They're not good people, not a single one of them. They are all con men, and they're all trying to fuck
terrible people.
All trying to fuck each other over and trying to get, again, make money, make as much profit as they can, stealing, robbing, manipulating, running cons on each other, trying to sell people on other ideas like robbing or framing people or kind of trying to cut a deal. It is it was a stage play. It was David Mamet. And again, this monologue, this character that Alec Baldwin plays was not in the play. It was not in the play. It was not originally in the play. But now almost every version of that play has this character because this monologue and this character. The idea is it's a Prestige Properties, I think they're called. They sell basically useless real estate to potential buyers and people that have invested in property before. They get these leads. So these are the sales leads, much like the leads I use at work. And basically, these leads that they're using are rubbish. They're not particularly very good. They've been spoken to millions and millions of times, loads of times. They're useless. So the sales are dropping. So Mitch and Murray, the company, brings in Blake, their top sales executive, and like the opening dialogue is like, "Put that coffee down." Put that coffee. He's like, "What? Coffee is for closers," And there's this whole thing about how you need to get mad and how you need to get confident and you need to just, and they're like, and all of them are coming up with excuses. And it's the classic salesman. If you've ever talked to a salesperson, they always have an answer for everything because that's a good salesperson. And that's the point. And he has an answer for everything. He's like, "Oh, you think the leads are weak? You're weak," and he's homophobic. He berates them. He humiliates them, belittles them, says that they're fucking useless. But the whole point of him being there is that they're going to be fired. So there's 4 salesmen, Al Pacino, Jack Lemmon, Ed Harris, and fucking hell, what's his name? Catch-22. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up because it's gonna drive me mad. Alan Arkin. There we go. I found it. I did find it. I found it. It was in the recesses. It was in the recesses. I talked about him on the Rocketeer. I talked about him during World War II month quite extensively. But yes, so they are the 4 salesmen. The top 2 prizes is a Cadillac and then a set of steak knives. And he goes, first prize Cadillac, second prize steak knives, third prize you're fired. So the bottom 2 salespeople are going to be fired. So this creates this desperation in these characters, and it's fucking like you just see them like all panicking. Some of them have got sick daughters and stuff, and it is just again just 9 minutes. It's on YouTube. You don't even need to watch the whole film. But it's all about the leads, and it's a film that you will hear the word leads like a million times. But the thing is, are those leads really the golden goose that they make them out to be? Or is Blake, Alec Baldwin's character, selling them on a con? Have they been sat on these leads and they're letting them go cold while the salespeople are trying to, get these sales and trying to make, some money? Like the way, and like it could be that they're useless. It could be that they are really good, but it doesn't matter either way because Mitch and Murray are going to win. Because either Mitch and Murray get more sales because these salesmen are desperate, or they get fired and they end, end up they make money and they get fired is even better because they're cutting that pay down. And it is just an absolute brilliant a story about the sales world and how absolutely cutthroat it is. And this guy's like, people are like, "Why are you coming down here?" And he's like, "I'm on a mission of mercy. I'm here to help you, to motivate you." He's like, "Get mad, you sons of bitches. Like, get motivated, feel something, go, feel confident." He's trying to light a fire under them. And again, you could see it as that. It's a wonderful writing that you could interpret in a million ways. You could,
Yeah.
and again, the sales leads, the Glengarry leads, are only for closers. So the people that are making the best sales are actually, they're kind of skimming off the top, and they tend to go to the best salespeople, and that's what's happening. So the people that are doing worse are going to do worse, and it's kind of a catch-22 situation where they're expected to do really well with shit leads, but the only leads they can do well with are the new leads, the fresh leads that are now
Yeah.
slowly going cold. So basically the faceless villain, even though there is a face to the villains in the film, is Mitch Murray, because no matter what happens, they win. The casino always wins. The house always wins. So no
Yeah.
matter what happens, these guys can't win. No matter how
Yeah.
hard they try. And again, the film has various other different elements and different stories, but this is grabs your attention. It's your inciting incident, and you're off to the races. And I think the film does need it. So I'm really glad. And Alec Baldwin, when we did the professional, medical professionals, I picked him again because again he had a wonderful monologue in that particular film.
Yeah.
And early '90s Alec Baldwin monologues, as you can see, are fucking a tour de force. However you feel about the man and his, whatever's going on with him at the moment.
Yeah.
And you can
As
say
a performer, he always stands out to me.
absolutely.
Chain, like the reason I stuck with 50 Rock for all the way through is because his character really. I mean, the show's great as it is, but 50 Rock with him playing again the top executive, playing an executive role in there,
There you go.
just fucking great, just completely off the wall. And then I love him in The Departed as the chief.
Yeah,
Fucking love him.
great.
Just
So
fucking
good.
great line. You want to go for a smoke? No, you don't want to smoke, do you? You want to fitness freaks, huh? Go fuck yourself. I fucking love it. He's got a great delivery in that film. Again, alongside Mark Wahlberg in that, and he's only in
The
it for
banter
small
there.
parts as well in that.
Yeah.
But he's just
Steals
brilliant.
the show.
Brilliant
Steals the
stuff.
show. But yeah, like
Yeah,
that
I
for me.
haven't seen Glengarry and Ross for a very long time. I definitely need to have a rewatch.
Oh,
There,
it's so
to be
good.
fair.
And
Yeah.
all the actors are good. Kevin Spacey is in it, so fair warning if you don't want to watch films with him in.
Yeah.
You understand.
Yeah.
He doesn't play a massive role, but he is there. But yeah, it's a very talky play, but the way it's directed and staged as well doesn't make it feel like that. It is the dialogue, it is the characters, and
Mark of good theatre.
and again, there's so many levels to it. Like I've just theorized various things about it just now, just by thinking about it. And again, I can't confirm any of it. I just feel that's kind of how you could view it, how you could view what those leads are, what they represent. And all these characters are basically trying to say, I'm the best salesman. No, I'm the best salesman. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. All this sort of stuff. And again, it's is Alec Baldwin, does he actually have that gold Rolex, or is it fake? Does he actually drive that BMW? Or is he running the con? Is he just as low down in the sales conference or the sales world as them? Is he? We don't know his life. He kind of comes in, like a fucking bomb, goes off. And again, it sends these characters spiraling, absolutely spiraling, and that's what makes it's so effective. This one monologue alone. So that for me, he has to be one of the top 5 corporate, worst fictional corporate executives. Has to be for me.
I'll have it. It's good call, Batman.
Yeah,
Very good call.
All right, Andy, you're up next. Who's your next worst fictional corporate executive?
Well, speaking of Batman, I'm going for one that's equally as fucking questionable in terms of morals and the whole moral dilemma. This character, first in a book, Bret Easton Ellis. My word, people did not like this book when it was released. Complaints about it being, sadistic and misogynist and, having all sorts of homophobic tendencies and all of this kind of stuff in it. And then it became a utterly memorable film starring the Batman himself. Before he was Batman, Christian Bale, and it is Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. My word, this is the definition of a man that is just self-obsessed, an egomaniac, obsessed with perfection of himself, of beating others around him that are in the same business, on this Wall Street nightmare, this ecosystem of just absolute fucking dribble and misogyny and fucking contact cards. Jesus Christ. It's He is just an upper West Side madman who becomes somewhat of a serial killer throughout the film. But
Somewhat,
then,
somewhat.
yes,
Or
but
does he? Or does
exactly, that's what I was just going to say. There's this whole ambiguity of whatever he's doing. Is it actually real? Is it all in his mind? Is he just completely lost the plot because the pressures externally, internally of what he's doing, his job, his career, his love life, his expectations, the expectations of everybody else, business as it is, finance as it is. It's a great mind-bending film, and I think the character himself is so multi-layered and multifaceted. I think every time you watch it, you uncover something else going on with him. I've not watched it for quite a while now, but it is
yeah.
when I watched the film back when it was first released. Jesus, I mean, it was 20 odd years ago now. I was shocked by it because I was like, fucking hell, that's not what I expected at all. I thought just the term American Psycho was just an unliteral term, but I think the book itself is even more darker and more demented and more intense and graphic than the film is. So the character for me is not just from the movie; it's from the book as well. And the book paints even more sort of questionable elements of morality and reality itself. You're never really sure what to believe with him as a person, as well as what he does in the film. You're not sure whether you should believe it, whether you fully understand what he's doing. Are you being shown everything? That's the thing that's always got me about the character. I'm never sure I'm being shown everything. I think it's very easy just to look at it as a surface film and a surface character. He's just killing everyone. It's very easy to look at it that way. And even with that, he is an absolutely terrible human being if you just look at it on that basis. He's a terrible human being. He doesn't give a shit about anything but the image of perfection. He has to be sculpted every morning. Everything is precision. Everything is accurate. His business cards are, oh God, the sequence about the business cards is one of my favorite films in a film related to business executives because it's nothing. It's a scene about nothing, but it's just people one-upping each other with something so flimsy and so pointless as a business card. I've handed out a business card before, and it goes in your fucking wallet, or it goes on the sideboard, or you forget about it, or you pin it up on the board. But in this film, in that sequence, it's the golden chalice. It's the power of the universe to these fucking miserable, vapid men who all their whole lives is just what's in their briefcase and what they're doing, and they think they're all up here with the money and the flashy cars and the cars and the fast women. They think they're all up here, and yet they're all confused men, right down to Patrick Bateman himself. He's confused because he doesn't like to lose. I fucking love the character. Absolutely love the character. I always have done. And if that makes me a sadistic weirdo, then it is what it is. But for me, it is those layers. I always enjoy going back to the film because I always pick out, like I said, something new. There's another nuance in there. So I think it's Christian Bale's best performance by an absolute clear fucking mile. He's a great performer in all the other films he's been in. Don't get me wrong, but there's pure malice and joy in what he's doing. It's such a weird performance, and I think he brings to life that character in the book. Obviously, I read the book after I watched the film, but there was not a single point in the book where I didn't see him there, Christian Bale's character there, and everything infused itself. It's great character, disturbing character. But again, it's one of those characters that you love to hate because he says things throughout the film like they just make you laugh, and you're like, why am I? How am I laughing? Why am I laughing? It's funny. Why is it funny? It's awful what he's saying. There's a bit when she's like, "What is it? What's so important?" His girlfriend. What's so important that you can't love me anymore? He says, "Well, I have this insatiable need to kill on a massive scale, and I've got no other way to do it." And you're like, fucking hell. Like, it's those moments like where people aren't listening to him, which is where you think, "Oh, is he actually saying these things? You know, is any of this real?" That's what I've always found interesting about it, because is it just the fact that nobody listens to him, and yet he's in this high privileged position that he believes he should be listened to, but nobody does. So he buys hookers, he buys expensive watches and expensive cards and all this kind of shit, expensive suits, all this facial makeup, because he believes that if he's prim and perfect, people will listen to him. It's that lost period of time for these lost middle-aged late 20 something men, just obtaining nothing, but then weirdly at the top of their position. So they're in dead end positions. They're going nowhere, even though they have all this power.
Some
Great.
of them do meet a dead end,
Ah,
especially.
well, yes. Hey,
especially
Paul.
I mean,
Can I get you to see the dossier now, you fucking pig?
how bad can Patrick Bateman be when he kills Jared Leto? Really, like how
Well, I
bad
mean,
can he be?
I mean,
You know, who doesn't want to see that?
yeah, it's like Huey Lewis in the Huey Lewis in the news. What?
Again, one of my favorites as well, Andy. Just such a unique film, full of
Yeah.
brilliant scene after brilliant, like one scene after another, bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
And again, it is all about that image and that the like the toxic masculinity again.
Yeah.
That
100%.
whole idea of them being, I am the perfect killing machine, I am the perfect business machine, I am the perfect man lover. I've got to be perfect. I've got to, and again, that's that success and that need to drive. It is almost a parody, really, almost of like that yuppie movement and the 80s kind of the Gordon Gekko, like taking like Gordon Gekko and just going, what if he was absolutely fucking insane though as well?
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
To like a hilarious degree, like just
everything.
a degree where he's just like cackling and running around with a chainsaw with his dick out.
Yeah.
Just mental. And again, it's just it's one of my favorites. I think, and again, if you hadn't picked it, and if I was going for like my like obvious top 5, that would definitely be on that. Like without a doubt, he is on so many levels just a fucking horrible guy.
I think in terms of, like we said with Burke, it sticks with you. The character sticks with you. I mean, I use that gif all the time, don't I? Of Christian Bale's going, there's so many memorable moments of him as a character where he's putting on a character around these other people. It's just such an interesting character. He's alluring. He's magnetic. The character's magnetic, and you almost sympathize in some way with his inability to find whatever piece he's looking for, because we don't really know. We don't really know what his motivations are. We don't know why he does the things he does. When he phones his therapist or whatever it is at the end of the film, it's a scene that took me ages to understand it, because that's the sort of biggest key, is to go in, what are you on about? Nobody's fucking dead. Or is it his therapist, or is his friend or something? Nobody's dead. What are you on about? Paul Allen's not dead. He's on holiday, you fucking idiot. And you're like, wait a minute, what the fuck? So you get there with that big old fucking question mark in there, and even right up to the end, like, it's plain faced. And what's going on with this character? Who is this character? I don't think we know who Patrick Bateman is. That's what I fucking love about the character. I don't think we ever see who the real Patrick Bateman is.
No, the mask slips, but then there's another mask, and then that slips, and there's another mask. I don't think he knows who he is, and I don't think he knows what's going on. But also, I think it's also implied a little bit that they're helping him. Like, this is something he should be doing, and he's being protected, which again kind of feeds into that, high business. If they fall from the top, he's going to catch us all the way down. It's that kind of like, Harvey Weinstein-esque thing where, oh well, if he can get if he falls, then we're all going, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I thought that was quite an interesting idea. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's an amazing film, and again, I need to definitely revisit it. Yeah, I always think about that performance. He's like you said, he's done some amazing work since, but I think there's nothing quite as like you said, it stays with you, that
Yeah.
performance. It's not, and again, it was the first thing I saw him in, and I can even see where the Batman parallels come. I can see a kind of
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
like, he has a double life. He is a kind of a Bruce Wayne type almost, but it's like, again, take that idea, but kind of just run with it into a, absolutely insane kind of cartoony almost world in some cases.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it. And again, it's taking that real thing that was happening at that time and just going, let's extrapolate it and take it to these lengths, take it to the yuppie idea and take it to its extremity. But yeah, a wonderful choice, Andy. Could not agree with you more. All right. So next up, I'm going to go for a TV show. I'm not a big TV show watcher, but this has got to be one of my favorites. Now, it's very in line with kind of stuff I like anyway. It's I love RoboCop. I love the satire that again has a lot of kind of corporate executive villains, which again you love to hate kind of thing, and you want to see their comeuppance. Now I'm going to go with the CEO and former director of talent relations for Vought International. I'm going for Ashley Barrett in The Boys.
Okay.
Now, I came to a realization the other day. Now, The Boys is full of some wonderful characters, hilarious, dark, disturbing, insane characters that, again, you love to hate, or you're like, what the fuck are you? Why are you doing this? Why are you making these decisions? You're fucking up your own life. You're fucking up the world. You're fucking up this company. What is going on? Again, it's a world where this company's created superheroes, and now they are, the hot property, and they are sellable, and they're marketable, and they're celebrities basically, as opposed to like, but it's also, what if superheroes were in the real world? Of course they would be just as fucked up as all the other humans in the world. It's that deconstructionist idea like Watchmen was doing. Like, they are superheroes, but all fucking like weird, sexually frustrated and fucked up people. Depraved, doing exactly what they want. And again, that show is very much that. Now, Ashley Barrett, much like Carter J. Burke, is an absolute sycophant. She has kind of failed upwards in the show. And I came to the realization, out of all these characters, I think she might be my favorite. Now, again, she's been on a heck of a journey, and I can't wait to see what they do in season 4 with her, I think it is. Or season 5 it will be, the final season. Yeah. But she is in a world where she could die at any moment. Like, she could easily, like, she is absolutely sucking up to Homelander, and she becomes basically a puppet. She is, and she'll agree with him, say, she'll say like, oh, I don't really like this design. It looks like, the 90s called and wants their office back. And then Homelander goes, I actually quite like it. And she's like, yeah, I love it. It's so good. It's so, it's, it needs a comeback. It's retro. I love it. Yeah. And she, all of this time, she's managing all these superheroes like the Deep and his fucking crazy antics and A-Train and what the fuck he's doing, this week. And as she gets on in the show, she does gain more confidence, and she like shouts them down and like has a go at them as like, you're a fucking idiot, you're a moron. Is your brain being fucked by stupid? Which was a line from Homelander that she steals, and they're like, I don't know, is it? And you just see that she is actually feeding, like a sycophant, she's feeding off the power that she gets by association, by her association to these powerful people. But it is stressful, and she is like pulling her own fucking hair out. She reveals that she has a wig later, and she's pulled almost all of her hair out. It's hilarious and sad. And yeah, she's just a fascinating character as she kind of grows and as her influence grows. And she just like takes it out on fucking everybody, because she gets to a point where she has like a breaking point, and she just has this massive tirade that comes out, and it's usually hilarious. And there's so many times where she could be a good person or an empathetic person,
Yeah.
sensitive person, and she absolutely is not. But then, even then, there's moments where she does like good stuff. Like she hides like Maeve's, again, spoilers for the boys, but she
Yeah.
hides that Maeve survives that her fight with a soldier boy in Homelander. You know, she deletes that footage. You know, she does show some sensitivity, but also she's like a dominatrix as well.
Yeah.
And this is how
Where
she
the fuck did
deals with
that
these.
come from?
And this is the thing, is like, I think we talked about it in the medical professional people, these high pressure jobs, you know, people have to work hard, but they have to really play hard to kind of get, you know,
Mm.
to take the edge off, sort of thing. And those are the things that she does to kind of to stop that from happening. But yeah, I just love her character, and just like all the just watching her like have fucking meltdowns and just reacting, and her trying to protect these superheroes from themselves, like, you know,
Yeah.
covering up murder after murder.
Like a weird, like a bizarre situation, isn't it? Because you wouldn't think that the superheroes need protecting, but they do
No.
because they're all fucking assholes.
Yeah, they're
They're
ruining
all,
their public image. That's the whole
yeah,
thing. Is and she's like the ultimate spin master, spin doctor. Like
yeah,
how she goes, okay, you've done that, you've done that. You know what we'll do? We'll save this. It was AI generated. It was fake
yeah,
news. It was, you know, it was an attack, or it's, you know, the every moment, like even like Homelander killing, you know, a protester, you know, blowing his head off. They still managed to spin it so he's
yeah,
the hero, you know. And it's hilarious to see that, you know, obviously Vought is meant to be, you know, Disney, or, you know, Prime, or, you know, all the other
yeah,
big conglomerates and entertainment companies. And she even talks about leaving to work for Disney, which kind of implies that Disney is just as bad, or this is their version of Disney. And again, there's so much satire and parody, and which is just like cutting it. Like for me, like South Park is some of the best satire ever made, and I think The Boys is close there. And again, it has that extreme violence, which again kind of works to its advantage in this kind of cartoon world. And but yeah, there's still a lot of realism to it as well.
yeah.
And I know for a fact there are Ashley Barretts out in the world, you know,
Oh
trying to claw their
God,
way up in a male dominated business, you know, trying to get there, and again, like, and falling apart and coming apart because of that stress,
yeah,
because of that demand and pressure of those jobs. But yeah, that's why she's in my list, because you know, it's just, yeah, there's so many levels to her, like Patrick Bateman. There's so many
yeah,
different, you know, scenarios and things, and you're not quite sure how she'll ever react to any given situation, which again, that unpredictability is what makes that character so entertaining.
yeah. If anyone deserves to kill Homelander, it will be Ashley.
Yes,
Will
100%.
be. Like,
uh, and
I think that would be the perfect ending. Really, it shouldn't be any of these other characters.
no, shouldn't be
Shouldn't be,
Butcher,
yeah,
shouldn't be
the
Kamiko,
Butcher.
shouldn't be
Yeah,
Starlight, or any of those,
yeah,
Mother's Milk, whoever. It should be, because she's kind of earned it, I
yeah,
think. And I love in the latest
yeah.
season, like she gets to show a little bit of rebellion, and her version of rebellion is taking a shit in Homelander's toilet and not flushing it.
Brilliant, fucking
Uh,
brilliant.
but she does have that opportunity again to rebel, but she's so scared. She's so afraid. She's like, I
Yeah,
can't do it. I can't do it. You know,
yeah,
and she has helped the other side, you know, the boys and A Train and all these other characters, but she can't separate herself from where she's got, because I think she feels like she's earned it. I feel like she's like, I can't give this all up, or almost. There's
yeah,
something about like that her inner child, or, you know, the younger version of herself won't let her, even though she's in constant danger of being killed, she's in constant danger of being assaulted.
more than likely will be
Yeah.
killed as a byproduct of whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, but I think you're right. I think you're right. I think Ashley, if Ashley does it,
yeah,
it'll be the one thing nobody's expecting. I
yeah,
think is her to do it, because I
yeah,
think you would think like Newman and other characters maybe,
yeah.
potentially, but I think you're
I
right.
think
I think
it would just fit the tone of the show, to be honest. Fit the tone
yeah,
of the show. There's none of these would-be heroes. It's none of them. It is literally another horrible person is the one that does it.
another
Maybe she does get
another
killed
victim.
along the way, but like, as part of it as well. But yeah, because she is a victim herself as well, isn't she?
She is,
But
yeah.
she's
Mm,
part and parcel of the
mm,
problem
yeah.
as much as Homelander is himself. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's one of them, isn't it?
She's just as bad as, she supports and helps and props up
Yeah.
Homelander,
Covered
gives
up
him ideas.
murders. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. She's just as villainous, but also she's a great businesswoman, but she's not a great businesswoman.
Yeah.
There's so many layers to peel back and to enjoy about that character. And I think I'm drawing a blank on the actress's name, but I think she's top notch, and there's never a dull moment with her. And again, she could easily be a very disposable character, but she is actually, one of the core cast members that I don't think, well, they haven't got rid of her. They could have easily got rid of her or killed her off at any point, but they've not,
Yeah.
because she is important and she represents something very important in the show.
Spot on. Spot on. Good choice, sir. Good
Thank
choice.
you. Thank you. What is your
Nice
next
indeed.
choice, sir?
My next choice. Prepare to be upset, boys and girls.
Here we go. Here we
I'm
go.
going for a terrible villain in his own right.
Okay.
Terrible villain. My word, what was he thinking? Who thought it was a good idea? He also didn't pay people properly to do the job they were quoted for, which results in a rebellion of sorts and results in carnage and chaos. In the book, he is the primary antagonist. He is an antagonist. He is the villain of the book. It's all about profit for his company. It's why he does it. It's why he creates it. It's got nothing to do with enjoyment and giving back. Anything. It is purely for profit. Now, obviously, in the film, he's not that at all. He's completely different. He's a harmless, lovely man. And I am talking about the founder of InGen from Jurassic Park, John Hammond. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the change in the movie. I think it brings a different dynamic. In the book, it is very, very dark. And again, similar to American Psycho, the book is fucking violent. It's really violent. It's really in depth with science, and it's really in depth with this, the full level of genetic engineering and what that means and what it's going to change for the world. That's what John Hammond is about in the book. It's about, I've done this because we can fund even more genetic change. We've created this part because we're going to bring in billions, which we can use to fund even more research into genetic engineering and do X, Y, and Z and change humanity in this way and do all sorts of other stuff. It is purely bioengineering on a fucking global scale, on a Disneyland scale. So the thing is, he cuts corners, which results in chaos to unfold. Chaos being the primary, theory of the films. But obviously, in the film, for me, so I'm kind of edging more towards the novelization. But even in the film, he is somewhat not entirely free of being responsible for everything. I mean, obviously he admits responsibility, but it's his earlier pursuits where he's determined this must happen, it's going to work here, we're going to do this. And this is the quote. And he gives Dennis Nedry a quote of what needs to be done. And Dennis Nedry says, well, who else could have done this job for you with the quote that you wanted? The quote that you gave. And then John Hammond goes, well, I can't help you with your financial problems. But in actual fact, if John Hammond had listened to Nedry at some point, he would have realized that Dennis Nedry needed a bit more help. And if he'd got that bit more help, maybe this fucking shit wouldn't have happened. But obviously, Dennis Nedry is a greedy fucker anyway, in more ways than one. It's shown in the film. I'm not, weight bashing or anything like that. It's part of the character. He's greedy for money, for wealth, food, for recognition, for being part and parcel of creating Jurassic Park. So, there's this whole dynamic between both of them. But at the same time, John Hammond's about spare no expense, spare no expense, spare no expense. But he cuts corners in safety and security that leaves them vulnerable to the point where it all falls apart, it all collapses. And even then, when everything's fallen apart, he's still like, well, we can rebuild, we can fix this, we can do this, and we can do this. He's not seeing what is right in front of him. at that point. And it's that scene. I absolutely love the scene with Ellie Sattler when he comes in and he's eating ice cream, and they have that back and forth. It's only then when he realizes the folly of everything he's done. As grand as it is, as a brilliant idea as it is, as perfect as it could have been, it's like she says, it's all an illusion. You create an illusion that isn't based on reality because there are things you've missed. There are variables you missed. You didn't do your due diligence on this and that. It's the fucking weather. And obviously Dennis Nedry turning off all the fucking power, but it's the weather that fucking scuppers everything. Realistically, if the power had still been on in the park, the weather would have still decimated some of it anyway. The storm would have decimated a lot of the paddocks, resulting in dinosaurs coming out. So what corners were cut there? It's always been an interesting thing to look at for me. From again, same thing. Watched the movie very long time ago, obviously when I was a kid. Came around to the books around about 15, 16 years ago. I think we were on holiday, and I was like, oh fucking, I'll finally read them. And initially, I was like, "Oh my god, this is weighty. This is much more weighty than I anticipated." I just assumed it was going to be a novelization of the film. Those cheap and nasty ones that you get, which are I know Scott Weatherly likes them, doesn't he? I think, but I just assumed it was going to be that. I didn't expect anything of it. I didn't know anything prior about the differences, but it's those differences in the book. I get why Spielberg changed the character and whatever, because they wanted some fatherly figure, to present this idea of this great idea, which is for everyone and everybody should be involved. But the character in the book is cold. He's a sociopath. He harbors no interest in anything but the bottom line. And that is the marker of a terrible CEO. And he gets his comeuppance in the book. He's killed by the compies, the little compy things.
Oh, yeah.
The ones that kill that guy in the second one that chase him for fucking ages. I can't remember what the guy's name is. We played by Peter Stormare, I think it is. Great, love it. Like Carter, go! So yeah, he gets killed by them in the book. And I think it's the same thing, is because the compies in the book have like a weird nulling poison effect. It removes pain. So they eat him alive, and he doesn't feel any pain. So he slowly realizes he's being eaten alive. It's horrifying, but he deserves it. It's the ultimate comeuppance in the book. And obviously the comeuppance for John Hammond in the film is that he becomes this disheveled man, doesn't he? He becomes this wreck, especially when we see him in the Lost World. He's beyond ill. He's obviously losing his faculties in a way. But even then, with the Lost World, he fucking sends Sarah Harding on her own. He lets her go. What are you fucking doing? And even Ian Malcolm says, look, you've not learned any of the lessons. You're doing the same thing again with more people. You're sending out all of this to go and photograph these animals and take notes on them. You've not learned anything at all. And obviously, InGen go in there with even more dickhead of a CEO, which you could have in this list as well. He goes in with them, and it all goes fucking wrong again. So he doesn't learn the lessons. And even when people are pointing the fingers, because even fucking the raptor specialist, there's a line, it fucking sticks out to me. It's great, and it just highlights the simple mistakes that are made in the film. When they all get out of the car, when they see the Triceratops, and what's his fucking face, Muldoon goes, "I told you we should have had locking mechanisms on the bloody doors." Hello, people are telling him what they need to do day in, day out, and he just goes, yeah, well, we spared no expense. You didn't fucking spare the expense on fucking locking mechanisms on the doors, did you? He's all too much about the visuals, not about what is most important. John Hammond.
Yeah, I actually quite like that choice, because again, and I think it's one of your favorite words. It's hubris, isn't it? Absolute,
yeah, pure and utter
pure
fucking
hubris. Because he thinks, and again, like Ian Malcolm's critiques of him are absolutely fucking spot on. He's like, you thought about it, you came up with the idea, you've got the money, you've got the power, you've got the influence, you've got the people.
You slapped on a lunchbox, and now you're selling it, and you're selling it, and you're selling it.
Yeah. And he thought about it. He thought, I can do this. I could potentially do this. Before he thought about the ramifications of what he's done, and he puts his own family in the jaws
Yeah.
of danger.
Yeah, I didn't
With,
fucking mention that.
without
Fundamentally, his own
without a
fucking
second
blanket are there.
without a second thought, he is reckless. He is reckless,
Yeah.
and it's almost all the more insidious because he's this happy-go-lucky chappy. He's this
Yeah.
little I'm the Monopoly logo man, oh, look at
Yeah.
me and my little cane, all this. It's almost slightly darker in a way that he's presented as such like this affable,
Yeah.
friendly Santa Claus-esque character. When
Mm.
actually what he's doing is creating the killing machines and then not
Yeah.
holding them in properly. All it takes is, it's a little bit of hacking, a little bit of power outage, like you said, the unfortunate weather, and the whole it's a fucking, it's a massacre. Like, it's not
Yeah.
obviously presented as such, but like you said in the novel,
Yeah.
it is presented as such.
Yeah.
And he probably does deserve what he gets. And again, like you're saying in the second one, it's like Jaws and Jaws 2. Nobody learns the lesson
Yeah.
because
Nobody learns the fucking
the
simple
fucking
mistake.
mayor's still in charge. So
Yeah.
John Hammond has clearly not been brought on criminal charges. Sam
No.
Jackson's dead. All the people that work there are dead mostly.
Yeah.
And now he's created these monsters that are roaming free.
Yeah.
And again, that's what however you feel about the Jurassic World movies, they kind of follow that same vein, that same idea of these
Yeah.
I'm going to create the Indominus Rex because I can, and this is what the boss wants, so we're going to do it. We're going to make him more deadly and give him all these abilities. And
Because
then
the audiences demand it. What the
Yeah.
fuck are you talking about? People have been going to zoos and looking at lions for fucking hundreds of years.
Yeah.
No, we don't. Don't
And
need the Indominus Rex.
and like
Fuck off.
basically every villain in those films is a shade of John Hammond, aren't they? They're all a
Yeah.
version to a degree of John Hammond, or a different spin on John Hammond. Even the old James Cromwell, who's the farmer from Babe, is like his mate. But even
Yeah.
he's cloned his daughter, hasn't he? He's made a clone of his own daughter, or something like that. I think in the film, or something.
Yeah.
Made that little clone girl. And that's fucking reckless as well. That's again massively hubris,
Yeah.
and they're selling them. They're selling them as weapons of mass destruction in that black market thing. The guy in Jurassic World, the Asian actor, I can't remember his name.
Mazrani, the character Mazrani.
Yeah. He's got fucking shades of that, and he's evil in the Amazing Spider-Man. He's another corrupt corporate executive working directly for Norman Osborn. So yeah, I'm with you, mate. I can't disagree with that. I can't. It is in that vein of the film. Yeah, you want to think, he's it's Santa Claus and he's brought dinosaurs for Christmas, but actually what he's doing is potentially illegal. Technically, probably what he's doing, I think, is basically illegal. Genetic engineering. I'm not sure you can actually do that. And the lawyer is like, I remember the lawyer's like scratching his head, going, yeah, this could work. Yeah, we can make money off this. This is actually, I'll find a way to do it. He's like, he's already trying to.
Obligations.
Yeah, he's like, he's already trying to work out how they can make money off it and profit off it. And again, he's just as bad, and he gets etomized on the shitter and stuff. So yeah, I can't disagree with you. It is in the DNA of the film. It's in the the DNA of the novel, and it's in the following installments. However you feel about those installments and how good they are, is down to you. But it's there. It's there.
What a shame.
What a shame. What a shame.
Yeah.
So if you do get hate for it, Andy,
when Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, the pirates don't eat the tourists. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. And again, I kind of feel like they should have been a little bit harsher on Hammond, to be honest. I really do think they should have been.
I thought that, especially after reading the book, I was like, yeah, because the book literally like hammers home all the major things that happen and like the results of it, and you're like, yeah, maybe he should be viewed as being evil.
You should be dead or in jail, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I think there is a deleted scene in The Lost World where I think the new executive literally goes, the reason why they're going to the island to take the dinosaurs is so they can put them in a new park and like utilize their DNA and all this kind of stuff to make money back, because he does literally go, I think it was like fucking Muldoon 19 million, all the Gennaro 25 million, or they like, oh, so they got sued fucking millions.
Yeah.
The only person family didn't sue was Nedry's family, I think. Um, hilarious. But yeah, so then you've got like the worker and all that. So yeah, they do get sued. So there is, I think they should have left that deleted scene in, to be fair, because it gives context as to why InGen goes in there with full force. I don't think they really, Hammond sort of says why he thinks they're going in there, but you don't really get the context of, well, the company needs to make back its money.
Yeah.
You just seem to think they're going in there because they want to put them in a new park. Well, yeah, that's true, but not really true. They view them as assets to be used. So yeah,
It's the danger of the eccentric millionaire, isn't it? You know, there's so
yeah,
many like eccentric millionaires out there who kind of just like, I want to do this, I want to do that. You know, lords and ladies and barons and all those kind of things. So it's, you know, it kind of ties into that as well a little bit.
yeah,
But yeah, like you could see, you know, Elon Musk. You know, the reason I've left Twitter, you could see is a, you know, oh, he's an eccentric millionaire. No, actually.
yeah,
Deep down, he's a very disturbed human being with a
yeah. Sparing no
very
expense going to Mars, but he's not looking at the underlying thing. These fucking boards, which everyone fucking uses. Yeah,
yeah. Teslas aren't doing very well, and you know Twitter's losing followers left and right, including myself. Again, I don't judge people for being on it. I don't, if you want to use it.
yeah. I'm staying on there for the
Yeah,
time.
it's
Yeah.
fine. I did it. You know, I said, "Oh, I'm leaving," and then I didn't leave, and then but this time I just went. You know what? I'm kind of done. Various reasons, but yes. Okay, Andy, are you ready for my next choice?
Oh, I certainly am.
Now this is a very left field choice as well.
Good.
So this is not personal, Andy. It's just business. Lord Business of the Lego Movie.
Brilliant.
The CEO of Octan and the president of Bricksburg, I believe it's called, the area of Lego that he's in control of, played by to you know, he plays a really good. Now I chose this one because I wanted it to be someone who is a real micromanager, and in this film he does have robots that are called micromanagers.
Yeah.
And he if it's outside of his idea of perfection, then he does not like it. It needs to be, you know, set in a certain way and just right. And if it's weird or unusual or unconventional, it's wrong. It won't make money. It's bad. Destroy it. You know, I want things to be like this, perpetual and in this state, and that is why he gets the Craggle, this ancient and powerful artifact he believes it to be, but it's actually just crazy glue. And he uses that. And there's a very disturbing scene where Liam Neeson's character, good bad cop, his parents turn up. And they're like, oh yeah, just stand here in front of this house, and he's like, don't move, and then the dad keeps moving. He's like, why are you moving? Don't move, I told you not to move. What are you moving? He's like, every time I talk to mom, dad's moving. What's going on? And yeah, literally is like, you know, it's very like, it's played very seriously.
Yeah.
Like it's wonderful. And Liam Neeson's like, mom, dad, and I think Liam Neeson plays the dad as well, and he literally is remorseless and like just basically glues them just in this perpetual state forever, and they will not move in this perpetual pose. Yeah, wonderful. I think Will Ferrell is great at playing these kind of man children. He's good at playing a man child, and I think there's a lot of business, you know, corporate executives who are man children. I think they're like, if I don't get what I want, it's bad. I just want what I want, and he plays this to a T. And I think the design of the character is brilliant. He is. You know, he has this front-facing president business. You know, he's a nice guy. Very John Hammond, very affable, very, you know, like, oh, I love my coffee and I love this. And, you know, Taco Tuesdays come in, you know, free stuff for everybody. And he's like, and even in that thing, he's like, yeah, if you don't go to Taco Tuesdays, I'm going to put you to sleep. And then Emmett, the hero's like, oh, yeah, what a great guy. I love him. And he's like, wait a minute, did he say put us to sleep? You know, all these lovely moments. And there's a great line as well where the hero Emmett finds the lid for the crazy glue, the piece of resistance. Some wonderful like gags in this, and which is the lid for it, and he's going, oh no, Octan's like basically Liam Neeson's good cop bad cop is revealing the plan and how evil President Business is or Lord Business is, and he's going, Octan, oh they make good stuff, music, dairy product, coffee, TV shows, surveillance systems, all history books, voting machines. Wait a minute. You're like, oh yes, it's totally evil and corrupt, of course. And I love his design because he has this helmet, this huge helmet that goes on his head, and on the top of them are 2 coffee cups, which I adore because he's like always drinking coffee. Like, oh, coffee's great. Keep drinking coffee. Be productive. Go about doing your own things. Don't think any unique or interesting thoughts. Just go and watch the most banal TV show. Where's my pants and all this. Just so it's a fun film, and I think it was the Barbie movie before Barbie. It was the toy movie they did actually something with, and they had some fun with it, and they poked fun at themselves. And I love his armor. His armor makes him look like he has a big red tie, and he has those big boots, these huge, massive boots. Like, I'm big and important, and it's like the look busy, Jesus is coming or the boss is coming. So you always hear him coming because he's like, I'm important, bam, bam, walking in my big boots. I'm the big boy, and yeah, just lots of fun. And he actually represents the man upstairs, who is basically the god of this Lego universe, which is a basement that Will Ferrell's character owns, and it's not a toy. He's like it's a very complex system of bricks and building materials, but his young child wants to play and have fun and create this weird or wacky stuff and enjoy it, and he's like, no, I've got to glue it and it's not going to be messed with, you can't touch it, it's not a toy. And the kid's like, it is a toy, Dad. It is definitely a toy. But then he comes around, he changes his mind, and again, this affects the villain of the piece, and he also changes his mind and goes back, and then everyone saves the day, and it's all put back together. Another thing I really liked about him as well is he has a think tank, which is all the master builders are like strapped to this machine, and he's literally siphoning their good ideas. Like a proper like corrupt businessman. He's siphoning all their good ideas, and they're not taking any benefit from it. But he says, people should buy this, read that, do this, do that, stick to the instructions, the way things are, the status quo. Don't change it, because if we change it, I won't make profit, I won't make money, I won't be in control anymore. Which again is very Rupert Murdoch, very all these people we've talked about today. So yeah, and I just thought it was a fun addition. I thought it's a good example of that classic trope, that classic evil corporate executive, and it's a fun, and it's kind of a parody of those ideas again. So that's why I went with Lord Business.
Business. I love it. Great. Again, it's a film I've not watched for a long time.
Oh, it's fun. It's
really, really good.
Blast. Lots of fun.
Really, really good film.
Will Arnett as Batman, just hilarious. Just all of it. Just there's gag after gag after gag, and a lot of it's just very stupid, silly humor, for kids. But also there's a lot of like adult.
Yeah, there's a lot of visual gags and a lot of line gags for adults in there, and I think that's why it did so well, didn't it?
Quite literally, so much going on screen, and done in such an imaginative and wonderful way. Like, I didn't realize this, but when I was watching, like, they're on a train in the western town, and the smoke's coming up, and I realized it wasn't just smoke; it was actually the studs of the. I was like, fucking just wonderful, beautiful imagery, and just imaginative fun. I loved it. I've still not seen the sequel. I did see Lego.
I've not.
Yeah,
I've not seen it.
Yeah, I did see Lego Batman, which I really enjoyed as well.
Likewise.
But yeah, I'll definitely go and watch the second one, because I'm in the mood for it now, so I think I'm ready to watch that. But yeah, so yeah, Lord Business.
Yes, as a man who loves his Lego, I'm fully endorse that idea. I'm fully endorse that selection. Very good, very nice. Well, so
this is it.
We're on to the last one, aren't we? Now, this man, this business man, this mogul, this owner of an empire, as it were. Oh, I absolutely love this character. I The film came out when we were at uni. I knew at the time that this would be a film that just would stay with me forever. Absolutely would stay with me forever. Immediately quotable, immediately quotable, immediately memorable right from the off. And it's just a magnetic character again, a magnetic character. He's utterly ruthless in his dream, in his motivation, in what he wants to obtain. And he wants to obtain this gold, this pure gold of a product. And he stops at nothing throughout the entirety of the film to get what he wants, even to the point of murder. And it's beautiful. And he's compounded by um, religious fanatics the entire way through that he shuns and he doesn't care about. He even goes as far as to spurn his own child in the film. I absolutely love it. He's purely obsessed with this one item, this one specific particle of his existence, and it's purely in his veins. There's nothing else. There's no blood in there. It's just oil. It is Daniel Plainview from There Will Be Blood, the most heinous businessman there is. He doesn't care about anything. He's only interested in drinking your milkshake. Drainage, drainage, Eli, you boy. I fucking love it. Daniel Day-Lewis in this film is absolutely perfection, and it's just that reveling quality in the performance right the way through. He does whatever it takes to fucking succeed in this. He promises to build a town, he promises to build schools and, you know, refresh the church, and he makes backhand deals. He undermines Eli all the way through. He undermines his partners. He undercuts his partners. He's threatens people with murder, and all the while he's just constantly wanting to, you know, obtain the pure, unadulterated gold, liquid gold itself that is oil. There's nothing else in that that's gonna stop him from getting it. I love it. I think he's all about the wealth. He's all about the money. He's extremely selfish in that, psychopathic in that. And when something gets in his way, even his own bloody son, when his son develops, it becomes deaf, and he can't hear anything, and he becomes a burden, he sends him to a fucking school. He just ships him out, even when there's the opportunity there for him to learn and be able to do things there. He gets rid of him. Obviously, he comes back a bit later on, but even then, he holds no interest really with him anymore. It's all this little, he's there, but he's not really there. And then towards the end of the film, his son comes back and says, I want to go into business. I want to go into the family business. And he says, we can't, because you're not my fucking son. You're a bastard from a basket. So he spurns even the idea of a family member getting into the same business, because he just views it as pure competition. Not even in the guise of like, oh, I'll help my son and we can expand the empire. No, it's just competition. There's nothing else. It's just competition. And then when Eli comes to him, who belittled Daniel's sort of views, and then he's done the exact same. There's like this wonderful back and forth, this wonderful clashing of ideas. You've got pure money versus religion all the way through this film. I love it. I love it. And when Eli comes back and begs for help, Daniel just rubs it in. He just rubs it into him right the way through. He says, "Yeah, I'll help you. I'll help you. Yeah, that plantate, that area you're on about. Yeah, it's already been taken." He leads him on right the way through in the final scene. Leads him on to the point where he knows he's got Eli in his grasp. He knows he's got him. He knows he can squeeze and make Eli feel utterly worthless. He makes him beg. Says, reach out, Eli. Speak to the audience. Make sure they can hear you in the back, and tell them you're you're a false prophet and God is a superstition. He makes him shout this out as though he's shouting to his congregation, only for Daniel Plainview to go, yeah, there is no oil there. I've already taken it, so there's nothing for you. It's just pure about himself, an absolute egomaniac, an absolute psychopath, a ruthless, malicious mercenary of pure business, and he just wants that lifeblood, which is oil. He's extracting it from the earth at whatever cost, and it's strange because there are those human elements to him in the film. Again, like all good villains, all the good characters we've talked about, there's those moments when you laugh along with him. When Eli's saying, "You must be baptized," he's not taking any serious at all. Apart from the one moment when he says, "I abandoned my child, I abandoned my boy," but even then, after he's shouted that out into the atmosphere, Eli pours the holy water on him, and he has this wry smirk in his mouth, and shakes his head as though he's been relieved of his own guilt. He doesn't give it. He's not doing it for any other person. He's just saying, "Well, I've said it now, so that's it. It doesn't matter anymore. I'm not holding that." And it's just a wonderful, wonderful character. Again, such a layered character. There are so many moments in there. He has this brother character come along who turns out to be just a fucking con man, and rather than just let him go, he fucking kills him. Just kills him. He just kills him. It's fucking great. It's absolutely great. It's one of those films, again, like I've said, that has stuck with me, and it is purely down to the depth of character. The quality of the character, the quality of the writing. That really sells you this horrible person and creates this magnetic person that you just can't stop but watch. What he's doing at every single point, and of course that comes across a lot with what Daniel Day-Lewis is doing in the film. But it's just a horrible character right away from the top down. When he breaches the oil, there's a wonderful shot when he breaches the oil and it all goes dark, and he's just sat there watching this fluid spew out of the earth, and it's almost like he's cut the vein. He's cut the vein of the earth. He's cut the vein, and he's just watching it pour out, and he's reveling in this lifeblood of the earth just pouring into his lap. He's loving every second of it. And that's all that matters to him. Nothing else matters to him. Everything else has been an inconvenience that he may well have tolerated at some point down the line, but he shuns it for the glory of oil. Magnificent. Just a magnificent character. Highly would recommend this film if you haven't seen it. Get it down here. There's so many intricate parts to it. It's long, but again, it doesn't feel long. It feels as though you're watching such a developing journey right the way through. And you're there for it. You're there for it, and you fall victim to some of the stuff that he's saying. You fall victim to it, and you start sympathizing with some of his actions. You start wondering, oh well, maybe he had no choice, that kind of thing. But no, he's just bad man, a bad boss.
bad man. Well, Andy, I have not seen it, so
it's fucking spoiled some of it.
It's all right. Don't worry about it. I'll forget it. My memory is that bad. I'll probably forget the things you brought up.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you can save it for us for sharing the silver screen one day. Maybe
possibly, yeah.
That would be a good one. It sounds. I've been meaning to get to it, and I think again it was mentioned in the people's comments.
Good.
But yeah, I think a lot of the ones that we probably have already mentioned or will mention definitely fall in there. But no, I'm you've been quoting it for a long time. Every time someone said Eli, you're always like Eli. And
I drink your milkshake.
But yeah, it's definitely one I've been meaning to get round to. So one way or another, I'll definitely see it soon. But
you will.
Yeah. Again, I'm not that bothered about spoilers like some people. I'll forget them. Most likely, I'll forget them. But yeah, again, there's going to be stuff in this top 5 that I've not seen or read. It's the way of the world. I accept that. And again, the stuff I'm going to mention that you've not seen or read or
Absolutely.
heard of. And I'm going to talk about a character I don't think you know that much about. So that's going to
Ooh,
be
go for it.
my number one. So it's a big X-Men year for me, so I've got to pick an X-Men character for number one. I wanted to have somebody who is part of the business but works vehemently towards the business's destruction. So I've gone with a character called Cameron Hodge. And he was introduced into the comic book X Factor. Now, again, nothing to do with the TV show or talent show.
Well, thank God.
So X Factor came about because they wanted another X book, basically. X-Men were very popular in the 80s, so we need another X book. So the main X-Men were kind of floating about doing nothing for a while. So Beast was an Avenger for a bit, Angel and Iceman were in the Champions and the New Defenders. So they were kind of just doing their own thing, but they weren't part of the main X-Men team for quite some time. Even though they would kind of momentarily pop in for a guest spot here and there. So Jean Grey was resurrected. She came back. She was no longer dead. She was found in a cocoon in the bottom of the Jamaica Bay, where the spaceship crashed down, and the Phoenix copied her body and made a copy and lived out her life and died on the moon. Anyway, she comes back to life, and everything has changed. The anti-mutant sentiment is higher than ever, more violent and visceral than ever. And Magneto, their enemy, is leading the X-Men and teaching the new mutants. The whole world is topsy-turvy to her. So Angel, Warren Worthington III, decides to create something new and kind of put her at ease. So he brings back all the original X-Men, Cyclops, Iceman, Beast, Angel and Jean Grey, all back together again. And they form X Factor. Now, Angel doesn't have an idea. He doesn't know what to do. So he calls his old friend, Cameron Hodge. Cameron Hodge was his childhood friend and was kind of obsessed with Warren and his influence, his charm, his looks. He would learn years later that he was, in fact, a mutant, which was the one thing that kind of tipped the scales. He felt that being a mutant, on top of that, being a literal angel, was too much, and he did not deserve that gift. And this hatred spread to all mutants. He started hating all mutants with a violent passion. Angel did not know this. So he comes to Cameron Hodge, who's a lawyer now, and is also a kind of a marketing genius, kind of a public relations genius. So he says, "I need you to come up with something. We need to do something. We need a mission and a statement. And what do you think we should do?" So Cameron Hodge comes up with the idea that the original X-Men will masquerade as mutant hunters, that they can be hired out. So people will report mutants in their area, and they'll go and capture them and take them away, teach them and rehabilitate them and put them back into society, basically, as within control of their powers, basically. So kind of the mission that Xavier was already doing back in the old idea. But also they would also be a group called the Exterminators, who would fight themselves, basically. So they would have the heroes were seemingly the mutant hunters, and their rogue, outlaw mutants, the Exterminators, would fight them and maybe, seemingly maybe kidnap those mutants or save those mutants from X Factor. So this was Hodge's idea, and even they thought this was a questionable idea at the time, but they went along with it. And all the while during their kind of tenure, Hodge is manipulating stuff. He's put up holographic projectors around Jean Grey, so Cyclops thinks that the Phoenix is coming back, and kind of sows those seeds of dissent within the team. He also do all sorts of things. He would move funds to himself. He developed a group called the Right, which I'm sure the X-Men writers weren't saying anything political by naming a villainous group of racist mutant haters the right. And they've got all these big smiley faces, horrible, disturbing smiley faces, and these big armored suits and all this technology. So yeah, he does that, and he's manipulating them and causing all sorts of kind of issues and problems. So Angel goes down to the Morlock tunnels and is severely injured, and his wings are infected, and he's going to die. Basically, Warren says, "I'm going to give all my funds to X Factor, all of my everything that I'm worth to X Factor." And Hodge is like, "All right, I'll have that. Thank you. I'll take the will and put it all in my name. Thank you." And then he basically takes away his competence. And it says he's incompetent legally, and then the hospital remove Angel's wings without his consent, so they have them cut off. And then Angel ends up on a plane because he's in such a kind of delirium with all the drugs and everything, and in depressed because his wings are gone. Ends up in a plane. Cameron Hodge puts a bomb on that plane and destroys the plane with Angel in it. But he is rescued at the last minute by Apocalypse, who then turns him into Archangel, or Death, one of his 4 horsemen. So Hodge, after this, it's revealed is proper evil, and he fights Cyclops with this like ruby quartz armor, which can't damage him. And at this point as well, he's literally gunning down humans to kind of profit this agenda, because this whole idea he created has actually incited more bigotry towards mutants, which was what he wanted in the first place. So he's sowing those seeds of dissent. And so he basically at this point is putting mutants in gas chambers. He also goes absolutely kind of bonkers and becomes really religious and starts going absolutely insane. He also gives mutant babies to a demon in order to get immortality. Like, this is the kind of guy that is the villain of the piece.
What a word.
Like, he is fucking despicable and only growing more and more insane. And when Angel comes back, he rejoins X Factor. He gets out of Apocalypse's control. He's him again, but this new dark and twisted version with metal wings. He confronts Hodge confronts Angel or Archangel with his ex-girlfriend, who was helping run the company, X Factor headquarters and everything. He has made her brain dead and is experimenting and torturing her body. And Angel comes in and cuts off his head with his wings. So he's seemingly dead. But he survives because he's immortal. Apocalypse kind of grafts a robot body to him, and he goes off to Genosha and creates loads of kind of tries to take over the government over there and uses his technology and powers and other stuff to kind of try and take over that entire country himself. And in doing so, he kills Warlock, the alien in the New Mutants, that character. He also is partly responsible in killing Doug Ramsey as well, who was best friends with Warlock. He cuts off Karma's leg as well. So this guy is pure fucking evil. Just the absolute worst of anything. You can't believe how evil he is. Now, within continuity, within the universe, he is considered the 6th most deadly threat to mutants by the X-Men themselves. And he's responsible for killing over 178 mutants himself.
What a son of a bitch.
Yeah. So he's a cyborg, he's a piece of shit, he's a madman, he's a bigot. He's all of the worst things that you can. He's a religious zealot. You name it. He is fucking awful. But yeah, so
make them look quiet away.
I know, right? So that's why Cameron Hodge had to be my number one.
Fair enough. Like I said, I knew nothing about that character. Can't see him coming in the movie though.
Maybe not. Maybe I think I did find an article where it's like characters too dark for the X-Men movies. I was like, yeah, probably.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, it becomes part of the Phalanx as well, which was like a bio-sentinel. They use Warlock's kind of techno-organic kind of life and tried to create their own like bio-sentinels, but then they took on a life of their own as well. But But yeah, and even there was even a racist who helped kill him because he wasn't as much of a racist. He was like, "You're more of a racist than me, and I think that's dangerous, so I'm going to kill you, even though I am a racist too. You're the worst kind of racist who just wants to kill all of humans as opposed to just mutants." But yeah, pretty fucking despicable guy, Cameron Hodge.
Yeah, sounds it. Well,
That's it.
fucking
That's
hell.
it. That is our top 5, guys. I hope you enjoyed those. Andy, before we finish out, do you have any honourable mentions?
I do. I do have some
Go.
honorable mentions.
Go ahead.
So, just going back to you mentioned it during my discussion with John Hammond. Yeah, Jurassic World, Claire Dearing. She's just exactly the fucking same. Terrible, terrible. Completely blind to the fact that people are doing stuff under her watch, creating the Indominus Rex, and then going, "Oh, it's a great idea." Great idea. No, it's not. And neither is running in heels either. So there you go. And then we've got John Milton, the devil's advocate. Al Pacino,
Very
Satan.
nice.
My word. It's just a absolutely flamboyant performance. Again, I've not seen this for a very, very long time. I think I've only ever seen it the once, but again, it sticks with you because it's just Al Pacino in "she got a great ass" kind of acting moment. He's just fucking. He's just
Over the
shouting
top.
and yeah, over the top to the max. Keanu Reeves is completely lost amongst his performance. He's not even there. Great. Gordon Gecko, of course. You mentioned him briefly before. Wall Street, the epitome of terrible, horrible boss.
Sleaze.
Just absolute fundamental sleaze. Brilliant. Terrible sequel film they made though. What a shame that was. And then two obvious ones. Mr. Burns, The Simpsons. Don't need to talk about that. But then Obadiah Stane's Iron Man.
Yeah.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps. But I'm not Tony Stark. That's all you need. That's all you need.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
Fantastic. Yeah.
My
And-
honorable mentions.
And he has he had a huge kind of run in the comics as well. Very, very, very different character, but also very similar as well, which was really good. That was a really good Denny O'Neil run that introduced that character. But yeah, excellent honourable mentions, Andy.
What about you, Dan? You surely have some, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got another 5, in fact. I'm going to go for Veronica Cale from the Wonder Woman comics. Veronica Cale is basically the writer. It was what's his name? Greg something. I'm drawing a blank. There's so many
How
names we've
dare
mentioned.
you forget his name? With all those names running through your head, how dare you forget?
Names. Oh, well, I'm gonna have to look it up now, aren't I? But yeah, it was basically his idea. He wanted to create a Lex Luthor for Wonder Woman, and this character absolutely epitomizes that. Greg Rucka, that was his name. Greg Rucka, and he was causing a ruckus by bringing this character in. And she's great. If you watch, I think it's Wonder Woman Bloodlines, I want to say, the animated movie, she makes an appearance as well. Yeah, she is in there. And there's like a post-credits thing where it kind of reveals that she's behind everything. But yeah, she's a really, really excellent character, really just like really twisted and again, it's one of those things where she looks at Wonder Woman and she thinks, I was not gifted all these gifts like you were, beautiful, strong, amazing, talented. I worked from the bottom up and I worked past all these horrible pricks to get where I am, to be where I am. If anyone should be called Wonder Woman, it's me. And I think that's one of her best rogues. She's not. I don't think she's got the best rogues gallery, but I think Veronica Cale is an excellent choice for that, and succeeds. And that's what I thought Kristen Wiig was going to be cast as, actually. I didn't think she'd be Cheetah. Or I thought they'd combine those two characters, but yeah, they kind of make her into the same old kind of shit trope that we've seen a million times in superhero movies.
Terrible film.
Yeah. Anton Bartok from The Fly 2. A fucking despicable human being. But again, The Fly 2. I love The Fly 2. I think it's great. The Fly is great, don't get me wrong. I know it's a better film by far, but I think there's a lot of fun to be had in The Fly 2. And I think there's not been a worse villain that's got a more desired or just end, I think, that in that film. And you'll know why. But I also wanted to mention Noah Cross from Chinatown.
Okay.
So that was John Huston played him. Won't say so much about the director. But yeah, he's not only greedy, horrible, but also molests his daughter. There you go. Spoilers for Chinatown, but he does. It's fucking horrible human being.
Yep.
Mom from Futurama of Mom Corp. I didn't want to pick Mr. Burns because again, more of an obvious choice. So I went from Mom Corp. My final choice is Peter Parker 2099 from the Spider-Man Edge of Time video game. It turns out that he's the villain orchestrating all the timey-wimey stuff because he feels like he's owed it because all the sacrifices he's made and all the people he's lost, that he wants to play with time and bring them back to life. So he has to fight himself and also Spider-Man 2099. And yeah, not my favorite Spider-Man video game. I didn't finish it. I didn't particularly like the play style or the combat, so I kind of fell off. But the comic or the story is written by Peter David, who wrote those original Spider-Man 2099 comics, and apparently that was his idea to put the Peter Parker 2099 as the villain, as the head of Alchemax, the corrupt corporate business, which is very much that world. The 2099 world is run by corporations, corrupt corporations. Doctor Doom is the president. It's a pretty corrupt world, let's be honest. But there you go. So Andy, we do have a lot of listener comments, so I'm gonna fucking blitz through these as quick as I
do
possibly
it.
can.
I will listen accordingly.
So, I'll hear your opinions as well. So Max Burns says Dick Jones from RoboCop, played by Ronnie Cox.
Yeah.
Ellis from Die Hard, Hans Bubby, the Duke
Hans,
Brothers.
put the gun down. This is it's not television.
The Duke Brothers from Trading Places. Carter J. Burke from Aliens, one of your choices.
He's on there. He's on there.
He is. And Victor Maitland from Beverly Hills Cop, played by Stephen Burkoff.
Yes. God, Stephen Burkoff. What a guy.
Stephen Burkoff.
What a guy.
We all a bit.
Spot on. Yeah. Spot on choices.
Great choices. Blake Biles has gone with Bill Lumberg from Office Space. Again, another one of yours, Andy. Patrick Bateman from American Psycho.
I see Blake knows. He knows.
John Milton.
He's all about those business cards.
He is. He absolutely is. John Milton from Devil's Advocate.
Blake 2 for 2. So 2 for 3.
Well, hold on to your hat, Andy. Gordon Gekko from Wall Street.
Yeah, we're thinking.
And finally, Daniel Plainview from
Blake, you have been looking at my notes, you son of a bitch.
You're in agreement. I Am Jack's musing he says, I'm jealous of Max B, who got the coke snorting, sycophantic, deluded, hard dying Ellis first. But here's some of the worthy mentions. The dickless Walter Peck from Ghostbusters.
Yeah, spot on.
Chad from In the Company of Men. I've not seen that, but I hear it's quite a misogynistic take on businessmen are trying to be fucking disgusting and horrible to women.
I don't think I've seen that either.
Yeah, I think Aaron Eckhart's in it. I think he might play Chad. I'm not sure. I've not seen it, but I believe that's what it is. You've got Gilbert Hupe from The Incredibles. Ed Dillinger from Tron.
Oh, yeah.
David Warner, good old David Warner.
Yeah.
George Hurst from Deadwood.
Yes. Very good. Very good.
And he says, special mention to anyone from Succession. Sorry, that should have said Gary Oldman voice. Everyone from Succession.
What do you mean, everyone? Everyone. Just to say, Aaron Eckhart is in The Company of Men, and no, I haven't seen it. 1997, 7 out of 10 on IMDb.
Right.
We'll put that on the watch list.
I will. And Matt says, okay, so I'm trying to pick ones that haven't been mentioned. Bob Lindbergh would have been one up there for me, but never mind. Lex Luthor, egotistical megalomaniac. Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. Emperor Palpatine. I mean, how can it not be on the list? Now, I guess if you're talking about, like Trade Federation stuff, I think you could maybe get away with it. I kind of allow it. There's another choice he has where I'm a bit more. It's a bit more questionable. So Damon Killian from The Running Man.
No, yeah, he's a media conglomerate, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the host of the show, isn't he? The host of the Running Man show, I guess.
Yeah, he's in charge of it, isn't he? He's in charge of the network, isn't he?
Yeah. And then
I'd seen you before. You're the asshole on TV.
He's definitely an asshole. And then he's gone for Principal Trunchbull from Matilda. What do you think to this one, Andy? I mean, I guess
she's in charge. She has like an authoritarian control.
I mean, they're CEOs of schools, I guess. You could probably...
She's the head teacher, isn't she? So
yeah.
if we consider that schools are a form of prison, and prisons are all business,
I mean,
so
government funded, privately
it's a
funded.
private school, isn't it?
Yeah, private school. Yeah.
Private school. Yeah. I'll allow it.
We'll allow it. Tonya Todd, so she's mentioned a film we've all covered together on the podcast, Max Schreck from Batman Returns.
Yes. She tries to blackmail me. I'll drop her out a higher window. Right now, I've got better fish to fry.
This is why I mentioned before, because she was struggling a bit. She's very busy, Tonya. I gave her a distraction on a very busy day, and ended up that me asking for her top 5 actually made her late for something. And I'm sorry, Tonya. I was just trying to have some fun.
Tonya, I think you need to sort your calendar out and your schedule.
Maybe just pull back on some of those responsibilities, but that's why we love you, Tonya.
Stop being so busy.
So I said I tried to make it as easier and a bit quicker for her. So I said I'll allow fictionalized versions of corporate executives.
Okay,
it's real ones. Right. Okay. So that's why she's gone Mark Zuckerberg from The Social Network.
I mean, yeah, okay, yeah. I mean,
we'll allow it. We've allowed a principal. We'll allow Mark Zuckerberg. And again, it's not a biopic as such. I think there are a few fictional elements, I believe. It's not an out and out true story.
Because he is a robot after all.
Yeah, there you go. Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, Lex Luthor from DC Comics, and she's also gone for Theodore Mann from the Black comic series, which, if I remember rightly, is the comic series where only black people can gain superpowers or have superpowers. Which again, I've been meaning to read because it sounds really, really up my street, really interesting. Honorable mentions, she says William Earl from Batman Begins, which I think is Rutger Hauer in that film. I think, which is a good.
Didn't she get the memo?
and then she says Obadiah Stane from Iron Man.
Hey.
There you go.
All is forgiven, Tonya.
All is forgiven.
I know you were late, but it's all your fault. So.
Well, we'll forgive it. We'll forgive it. So Derek Esoteric, so my boss, our own fictional corporate executive. No, he's he's my boss. No, he's fine. He's good. He's a good man. So he's listed his top 5. He's gone James Spader as Mr. Grey in The Secretary.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
We'll go for that one. William D. Fens Foster, Michael Douglas in Falling Down.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because he's a yuppie, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's like a defense contractor or something like that, I believe. But it kind of, the idea of him falling down kind of, it's a high pressure job. I can see that. So yeah, we'll allow it.
Terrible things, doesn't he? And blames everybody else.
He does.
Mm-hmm.
Leonardo DiCaprio, I think it's Jordan Belfort, is it, in Wolf
of Wall
Street?
Yeah.
And then he's gone for Frank Cross, Bill Murray, and Scrooged.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. No, we talked about Scrooge before, didn't we? Like
yeah, kind of, yeah.
We know obviously he's not Ebenezer Scrooge, but the again it's the idea, isn't it? The evil businessman came from Ebenezer Scrooge. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And again, you brought up Bill Murray's brother. That was one of your choices. So it makes sense. Comes in. And Rob Lowe is Benjamin Kane in Wayne's World. He is an absolute sleazebag. And then he's also got some honorable mentions. So James Woods as Max Wren in Videodrome.
Yeah. Okay.
And then pretty much all the aliens in They Live.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Sure. Again,
Sure.
we're playing fast and loose with the rules on this one, but
Fast and loose.
I
I mean, they
we
do want you to buy everything, consume,
buy,
consume. Yeah,
consume.
consume. So yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
you're
they
right.
just yeah, consume human scum.
So one final person has commented in. I messaged Rhea. I said, "Do you have a top 5?" And she went, "Oh gosh." She missed it because she was busy as well. But she said,
Not being busy.
basically, everyone's being busy. It's fine. I understand, but I appreciate them
I
making the
don't.
effort. You tell them, Andy. Stop being busy, you pricks.
Not having lives to
Stop,
attend to.
stop doing things. Stop being so successful at the things you're doing.
How dare you?
No, I appreciate you, taking the time to message. And she basically says, I said, "What's your top 5 fictional worst corporate executives?" And she said, "Any white guy."
Right?
No, Tonya, we found some women as well. It's okay. We found some women. We balanced out the equation, the demographic.
Any white
The
guy.
diversity is there. They are all white people. I think. I think everyone
Yeah.
we've mentioned is a white person. And I think that says
Mm.
something about society. I think absolutely. But she does mention Sigourney Weaver as, I think it's Catherine Ryan in The Working Group.
Yes.
There we go. And that is it for us. Andy, I have really enjoyed this discussion. I think we've had some excellent choices between you and me. I think there's been
Indeed
some
we have.
amazing choices. I think, guys, go and watch some evil corporate executives. They're a dime a dozen, clearly in fiction and in the
Yep.
real world, I think, that we don't know about.
Yes.
And historically as well, probably. But Andy, you are always doing stuff. You just released a video on the cancellation of The Acolyte over on Angry Andy Reviews. Where can people find you, including Twitter or X?
Well, like you said, I'm primarily coming out of Angry Andy Reviews on YouTube, so that was kind of a spur of the moment thing, just lumbering my thoughts in, trying to gain access to the algorithm. But yeah, I
It's good.
just
It's
talk
a good
about the
video.
numbers. Just talk about the numbers, and my own thoughts on the show. And then obviously did a review for Alien Romulus as well. But there's all stuff coming out, isn't there? There's the Crows coming out. God
Oh, yeah,
Almighty.
of course.
And then
I might
Beetlejuice.
have to see
Beetlejuice.
that. I might have to see The Crow.
Yeah, I think we're gonna watch it, and yeah, suffer and burn. I mean, it is what it is. The trailer is nothing for me, but I like the. I don't love the original version. I like it. It's not an imitable classic for me, but I do like it. So there's sort of like that morbid fascination of what I'm going to do with this, because it just looks like John Wick supernatural version. Like, okay, fine. But yeah, so keeping up with that, and then Beetlejuice is coming, so hopefully going to get all them in as well. But we'll see.
That's a film I'm not massively fond of. The original Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice, yeah.
Yeah.
Took me a while, to be fair. Took me a good few watches to
It's
get
a weird,
into
like,
it.
it's a weird, like, Tim Burton. I don't know. It's like it's all real
Yeah.
hit and miss for me. Like when he hits, and when he misses,
Yeah,
bad.
to be fair, he's not here for a very long time for me. So
yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
yep,
There's good stuff.
we'll
out there.
see. Yeah, so yeah, you can find me on Andy_review over on X, Twitter, whatever it is. I am on Threads as well. Can't remember what the thing
Me,
is.
yes. Yeah, I've just gone on Threads as well.
but-
I think it's the same. It's the same handle, unless you've changed it. It's the same handle as your Instagram, but I'll tag both.
Yeah, so I'm on there. I mean, I'm just trying to double post. I'm sticking because there's people and things that information you can gain from X.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I like
It's been
in some
spammed
ways.
with porn for the rest of it, and I'm like,
In some ways, I think I probably was a bit rash. I probably should have made note of people and how to contact them, because now I think I'm probably lost a few people. But it's what it is. I made my decision, and I've got to live with it. But I'll find other ways to contact certain people, and they can find ways to contact me, which you can do on the website, spiderdownthesecretballs.com. You can send me an email through the website. I don't give her my actual email because I'm not mad. Because I don't want to get I don't want to get all these porn adverts again, like you're getting, Sandy. But yeah, you can find me there and on Threads. It's Spider Dan Secret Balls. That's the same on Instagram, and I was going to say and at Dan_Balls on X, but it's not a thing anymore. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that anymore. But yeah, you can find me on all the other stuff. You can comment on my letterboxd if you like, and enjoy the reviews on there. I have reviewed Alien Romulus myself. Andy's read, and Andy enjoyed my review that I wrote. All the Geiger sexualized organs and imagery, which I described.
All the aim assist right the way through reading.
Yes.
You know.
All the anuses, all the vaginal, all the thrusting, all the phallic implements. If you enjoy that, you'll enjoy that review, I think. But yes, again, go and check out the Pop Culture Collective newsletter. The link will be in the show notes. And I'd like to thank my patrons again: Tony Farina, I Am Jack's Musings, Simon Cotton, Paul Meller, Mike Burton, Angry Andy, Tonya Todd, Math, Scott Hodgson, Rhea Carrigan, and Sarah Coyne. Thank you guys for all your donations and continuing help. It's very much appreciated and helps Prattle World keep on turning. If you are ever in a position to help the podcast, please do consider it, and you get some wonderful extras as well. And you get this early. You're going to get this early. If you pay, you're going to get shit like this early. Brilliant.
Get to hear me before I hear myself, even though I am on Patreon.
I mean, you could. I mean, I can send you the file if you want. We can do all this sort of stuff. I'm a corrupt businessman, Andy. This is what I am now. I'm the top salesperson at work. I'm making money here doing this.
Who did you push out of a higher window?
Well, I've used the image of Dick Jones in our coming out.
Yes, I've enjoyed it right the way through. His screaming face
with his extra long arms, his unnaturally long arms as he falls out that window. Fuck him. I thought that would be the best image, but yes, no. Thank you again, Andy. Thank you for the patrons for deciding this so quickly. Thank you for going along with my mad idea. Thank you for Andy for going along with this mad idea. Inspiration hit me like a lightning bolt. I'm like a businessman. I've got a good idea. Got to run with it. But yeah, I didn't want to just. I'm not going to repoll everything either because I just felt like this was something fun. I have repolled the other September podcast, so it might be an Amazing Spider-Man thing going on, or a Spider-Man comparison potentially. But it's leaning that way, Andy. You've got to convince, convince more people to vote for Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. If you can. I mean, there is a couple of votes, but it's still leaning that way. I might have to put out another message just to make sure people are voting on that one. See if the tide will turn at all.
Yeah, so join the Patreon and vote.
Join the Patreon. Let Andy tell you how to vote. Let him.
I mean, a corrupt politician. Vote for me, and I will spare your life.
Well, you do like to vote on the public polls, Andy, when it's something to do with you directly.
Yeah.
That's about as corrupt as you get. But yes, thank you guys. I know this one's run a bit long, but I think I knew it was going to anyway. It always
does.
It always does. It always does with us. But I think we got we squeezed all the juice out of this berry of a podcast of this topic. And yeah, I think it was a good topic. And I think, again, people wanted to hear this Patreons. We've got all the comments, so many great choices. Go and find your own corrupt businessman at a place of work, or in a film, or in a TV show, or in a comic book. It's up to you. Again, 10 a penny. There's a million more out there that none of us have mentioned. I'm sure there's some great ones. But yeah, go and check it out. I hope you've enjoyed this topic. I've had an absolute blast. Me and Andy.
Let us know if anybody's drank your milkshake.
Drank our milkshake. And I think the next thing we'll be doing, Andy, will be Man on the Moon over on your channel.
Yes. So I'm sharing the silver screen.
That's
Man
right.
on the Moon.
That's right.
Glengarry.
Yes. And I've got my choice ready.
Oh,
I won't spoil it, but you broke the format, so I'm going to break it even more, Andy. I'm going to break it even more. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Punishment is coming for breaking the format.
I didn't break no format.
You didn't break the format. Well, I'm going to kind of I'm not going to break it, but I'm going to follow your steps, and you'll see. It was something we have said we'd do in the past, so
Okay then. Well,
get ready
allow
for that announcement again. Excellent. I'll leave you with that, guys. Thank you again, and go and do business, but do it in the right way. Bye-bye.
Bye.